So the Soundcore Motion Plus is a really old speaker in today's technology terms. It was released in March 2019, but I still had to do a review. I had to share my thoughts on this wonderful speaker, and I think it's one of the best portable Bluetooth speakers in its class given its price range, size, and of course all the features it offers. So I had several Bluetooth speakers in the past, and I always thought they were kind of silly. I never really had a use for them, but then I was wondering, maybe I can use this speaker as a speaker for my computer and my sound system for my TV. But what ended up happening was that this pretty much sat on my computer desk pretty much all the time. One thing I want to quickly note is that I'm testing the Panasonic G9's autofocus face tracking, and I know it's really bad, so please excuse the blurriness, but this is for just testing purposes. So with that in mind, let's continue on the video. So the main problem I was trying to solve was I was trying to minimize the clutter on my desk. And having these two stereo speakers, I had these like really old creative stereo speakers, and I found them that they just took up a lot of space and they were pretty ugly. And what would happen is that they would always fall down, they would always topple down. Not to mention that the power brick for this really old, maybe 5 to 10-year-old speaker was so heavy and so huge that it was such a cumbersome task to mount it underneath my desk. I also really wanted to minimize all the wires on my desk. And of course, when you have stereo speakers, one will connect to the left and to the right, and then obviously you have to connect it to your computer. So it was just a really big mess. Now, there are a lot of speakers out there that you can get that are pretty small, but a lot of them are just kind of mono. They just have one speaker. There's no real stereo separation. So with traditional, typical type of desktop stereo speakers, you're going to have one on each side, so you get that really nice stereo separation. It's really important for, like, say, video editing and watching movies. So I was wondering, are there portable Bluetooth speakers that have really good stereo separation? Well, my friends, thankfully, this speaker, the Soundcore Motion Plus, has amazing stereo separation. And I'm going to talk about the reason why, given its design, it does so well in this regard. So how does it have such great stereo separation? Well, look at the design. The design is absolutely genius. You can see that on each side there's an angled tweeter, so the tweeter kind of like angles out so you get more expansive volume.
So I apologize for the microphone issue there. Apparently I still don't know how to use my Rode Wireless Go. It was falling down on my shirt into my chest and covering up the microphone. Rest assured, for the rest of the video, everything is going to be okay. Maybe not for the autofocus. So what I was trying to say was that the angled tweeters really provide a lot of stereo separations because they kind of point outwards. And another very thoughtful, innovative design choice that Soundcore chose was they actually angled the speaker such that it points closer towards your ears. So what I mean by that is if you lie flat on a desk, it kind of angles up towards your face. And this makes it easier to actually hear the audio because it's angled towards your ears. Now I took that a step further. I actually put a USB stick right underneath the speaker because it's conveniently going to be used sometimes when I use my PC. And I've actually increased the angle so that it's even higher facing towards my face. And this really increases vocal clarity. A lot of the competitors just have their speaker lie flat, and that makes it really difficult, especially in a desktop situation, to kind of hear the audio because it's not even pumping sound into your ears appropriately. Now earlier I said I wanted to use this as a soundbar or a TV speaker. Can this Soundcore Anker Motion Plus actually be used as a soundbar? Well, yes, of course. The most important aspect is that this is USB-C powered, but when it's powered, it's always on. So for example, if you leave the TV and you come back a day later, it's still going to be on, so you don't have to get out of your couch and turn on the actual volume. You can always have it on, so that's very convenient. And then you can control the volume, let's say using your Google Chromecast digitally, so that you can always keep a fixed volume. Let's say you keep it very high, and that way you have full control of your volume using a remote. So yes, it can be used as a TV speaker. Now there is an issue. The only other alternative input other than Bluetooth is the auxiliary 3.5mm headphone jack. Now, not every TV supports Bluetooth, nor does it support even a auxiliary out. But that's no problem. First of all, you probably don't want to use Bluetooth because Bluetooth has a lot of lag. And when you watch things like a movie, there's going to be lip sync issues. Maybe when a bad guy fires a gun, it's going to be a little out of sync. This same applies to PC, gaming, and whatnot. So you definitely want to use the auxiliary input. However, maybe your TV doesn't have an auxiliary output. No problem. Most TVs come equipped with a Toslink optical digital out or a coaxial out. And you can easily buy for $15 on Amazon a DAC, and this will convert the audio signal from a digital to analog and still maintain that high bit rate. Then you can simply plug in your Motion Plus speaker and you're good to go. So you basically have everything all hooked up for your TV. So on my PC, I always have it hooked up using the wire because I just do a lot of gaming and video editing. I definitely cannot handle any Bluetooth audio lag. However, on my MacBook, when I switch to my MacBook or I switch to my smartphone or my tablet, I have no issues using the Bluetooth for just regular video consumption or just listening to music. So in terms of the speaker's footprint, how big their dimensions are, I've compared this to the Roku Streambar, which is also a very compact TV speaker that could be used as a PC speaker as well. And obviously that isn't portable. It requires an AC adapter plugged in all the time. But when you look at them side by side, the Soundcore Motion Plus is a lot smaller, and I really do prefer that smaller size. The Roku Streambar does output a little bit better sound because it's obviously a higher wattage and whatnot. So it really depends on what your needs are.
So now we get to the part that's most important, and one of the main drivers why I think this is one of the best portable Bluetooth speakers out there, and it's the sound quality, the sound profile. So right off the bat, there's going to be a button that you can see over here, and that's called BassUp. And what that does is it's going to enhance the music. And what I find normally is that I'm always in the BassUp because it sounds the best there. When you remove it, it sounds more flat. So maybe you don't want, maybe you don't want to listen to bass. Maybe it kind of gives you some nausea or something like that, because I've heard some people get that. Then perhaps you probably just want to turn off the bass. It's just amazing how good it sounds. All the details that you can pick up when you play music. Compared to my old desktop computer, it sounded absolutely awful. It was muddy, it was very unclear, and they were pretty good speakers at the time. The technology has gotten so much better. In any case, the tweeters here, yes, they're angled, they provide the amazing stereo separation. They just provide so much clarity in the vocals, the highs, and it also really helps in the mids. So these two other woofers over here, the mids and the lows just sound amazing. There's no distortion when you turn it up. And most importantly, you can listen to your music at a quieter volume and still pick up all the details. And what really sucked about some of the older speakers out there, or some of the crappier ones, in order to hear stuff, the details, because our ears are getting less attenuated to higher frequencies. They don't pick it up less because as you get older, and because of all the previous listening to loud music as a teenager, and obviously tinnitus, it becomes really difficult to pick up all the high frequencies. And thankfully, with the tweeters, they articulate them so well that even at low volumes, you can still pick it out. So what's really great is that if you want to listen to this at night, not really bother a lot of people, you can still really hear all the details. And for me, when I'm video editing, and I'm going to listen to the songs, just having that clarity in the whole overall, the dynamic range, the overall sound profile is extremely important. Before I had to use headphones and crank it up just to make sure everything sounded good. Now I can just use these speakers, not get more tinnitus, and it just sounds great. So for video editing, music, movies, everything, it just does a really good job in all genres. So let's talk about the cons, and there are not that many cons here. The one major con is that on the control over here, you can see it gets really greasy. It's really kind of nasty, and it's really hard to clean. This collects a lot of grease, and that's something I really don't like about this speaker, is that when you have it on your desk, and it does look really nice, I have to say, the design looks really cool. It just kind of sucks that there's kind of grease on it, so that's really unfortunate. Maybe that's just the materials. And the second minor con, and I talked to their technical support about this, and I asked questions on Amazon and all that stuff, was that there's a slight hiss when I put my ear really close to the speaker. So maybe like this close or something like that. I can hear a distinct hiss, and it's coming from the tweeters. And they said that might be normal because it's just the normal interference as it operates. So it doesn't get much louder if I increase the volume, thankfully. So it's never really noticeable, but it was just a little bit of concern. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below if you do hear a little bit hiss, if you just put it kind of close to your ear. And this happens on Bluetooth input. I tried resetting all the stuff. It's always there. So it seems like that's just the normal operation, but maybe I have a defective unit, who knows? Let me know in the comments down below if you have this speaker and you hear a hiss. I'm really curious to know. And the last con is the microphone quality is not that great. So if you're going to be using it for teleconferencing, it's not the greatest option. You probably want to do something that is maybe a headset or something like that. I switched the autofocus to autofocus continuous before I was autofocus flexible or single. Let's see if that performs better in terms of moving around and doing things like this. And I also switched the lavalier mic. I moved it over here because it keeps falling. It's kind of annoying. This lavalier mic is the Rode Wireless Go, and I had it kind of in the middle. Now I just move it to the side. Hopefully it doesn't kind of fold on itself. Kind of sucks. Maybe I need the magnetic accessory. Okay, so let's wrap up this video. I have to say the Soundcore Motion Plus is an amazing investment, especially if you want something that is really clutter-free on your desk. You want to have a really good sound, from your computer and stuff like that. And it's also amazing because you can just take this out to a party. The versatility, the amount of options you have is amazing. Maybe you can bring this outside. Maybe you want to pair it with your projector outside or something like that. Pair it to your TV. It's just really portable. You don't have all the wires, and it functions perfectly fine as a studio editing for, obviously not professional, but for a computer actually. And don't think this is stationary. What you can do is walk around the house and let's say you're listening to a podcast or listen to music, you can take the music with wherever you go. So let's say you live in a big house, many rooms, you just carry this, maybe you clean the bathroom, then you go into the living room, you just bring this with you, and you always have an amazing Bluetooth wireless connection that is very stable, and you always have music on you all the time. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and if you like tech, please give a like. It really helps out the channel, and definitely subscribe. I'm trying to reach 10K subscribers. I will see you in the next video.